He helped build the AI that made OpenAI famous. His boss was Sam Altman. Then one day he quit, walked straight out the door, and took a dozen of OpenAI's best people with him. Everybody thought he was insane. 4 years later, the company he built is worth more than the one he left. This might be the pettiest rivalry in all of tech. So let's keep score. His name is Dario Amodei. For 4 years, he helped build the models that put OpenAI on the map. Then he got scared of where the whole thing was heading and left to do it his own way. And he didn't leave alone. His own sister walked out with him, plus a dozen of OpenAI's sharpest minds. They called their new lab Anthropic. The bad blood is real. This year, both men share a stage with India's Prime Minister. He reaches for their hands. They refuse to touch. Weeks earlier, Anthropic ran a Super Bowl ad roasting OpenAI. It opened with one word: betrayal. So this isn't a rivalry, it's a divorce. Let's settle it. Round 1. Whose AI is actually smarter? On the big coding test, it isn't close. Claude's top model scores almost 89. Its brand new one, Fable 5, hits 95. OpenAI's GPT 5.5, 83. And ask which one they'd rather use, 7 in 10 developers still pick Claude. But don't count OpenAI out. On the harder tests, where the AI has to do a real job on its own, GPT pulls ahead, twice as fast for half the price. So on raw smarts, it's a coin flip, which is exactly why the real war isn't about brains. It's about money. Round 2. Follow the money. OpenAI is the most famous name in tech. 800 million people use ChatGPT, and it's bleeding cash. 30 billion in revenue this year against a $14 billion loss. It's promised 600 billion in computing it can't pay for. When does it make money? Maybe 2030. Now meet the quiet one. Anthropic is way less famous, but it's quietly eating the only part of this market that actually pays the bills. Businesses. 40% of all company AI spending against OpenAI's 27, and of every company buying AI for the very first time, Anthropic wins 73% of them. And the growth is almost rude. Anthropic went from $87 million to a $47 billion run rate in about 2 years. That's 80 times bigger in 24 months. And unlike its famous rival, it is about to turn its very first profit. Which brings us to the number that ends the whole argument. OpenAI just filed to go public at around $852 billion. Anthropic's last round valued it at $965 billion. The younger company, run by the guy who quit, is now worth more than the giant he walked out of. Sit with that for a second. The student didn't just catch the teacher, he's beating him. At the one game Wall Street actually keeps score on, who makes money. So who wins? Here's the ClawStrike red. OpenAI owns the public, the brand, the users, the hype. Anthropic owns the checkbook, the developers, the money, and soon the profit. Betting on attention? That's OpenAI. Betting on who's left when the hype cools. That's the quiet one. So you tell me, famous or profitable? Drop it below. This is ClawStrike, decoding the AI revolution.